welcome back to the Black and Gold Standard Podcast. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, believe it or not, got a victory yesterday. Um, I'm gonna be honest, I did not expect the Steelers to win this game. Um, I thought it would be a close game, but I thought at the end the Baltimore Ravens would probably pull it out. I thought they would have a major issue stopping Baltimore's run, which they did really have an issue. Baltimore ran for over 200 yards, but I thought it would actually be worse than that. I thought it would almost be like how the playoff game was. But I think I may have gave Baltimore a little bit more credit in what they deserve. Um, that's a bad team, folks. That's a bad Baltimore team. Um, and I've watched a couple of their games, but I think the games I had watched of theirs were a couple games that Lamar Jackson wasn't playing in, so you had to give him a break on that. And then the other games where I kind of thought they had maybe got their footing back. He was against some bad teams, but the team I watched yesterday, that was a bad Baltimore Ravens team. And on top of that, I mean, like you know me, I keep it real. I keep it 100. And the refs did them no favors. Um, actually, it was two calls. Well, definitely they took the touchdown away, which I believe was a touchdown. But then again, when you go by the crazy rule, which they have to look at that rule and really change that rule. It's just a bad rule. But by the law, it wasn't a touchdown, but that was a touchdown. But then also the one that they really can gripe about that I thought the refs totally blew was the hitting the center. They totally blew that, and that changed. That gave the Steelers four more points because that changed the field goal to um to a touchdown. So, and another thing, if you get a chance to look at the film, you remember the play. I want to say Baltimore was fourth and it was fourth and goal. I think it was about on the 3 yard line, something like that, or 5 yard line, and um, it looked like Patrick Queen had broke up the play that Lamar Jackson was throwing to um, Mark Andrews. Well, if you look at the view, the back view of that play, he wasn't throwing to Mark Andrews. Um, Hopkins was in the back of the end zone all by himself, just standing there. Easy touchdown. And that's who Lamar was going to. But then at the last second, Andrews cut across. I think Andrews probably didn't see Hopkins in the back of the end zone, and he thought it was for him, and he tipped the ball away. But that was an easy touchdown. I mean, he's all alone. Nobody. I don't know what happened because I couldn't see the whole thing. At the end, you see Joey Porter running over there, but um, that was a touchdown. So honestly, a win is a win, but the Steelers got some breaks on that one. But sometimes you're gonna have that. So I don't never really try to get into that stuff because sometimes you on the good end of those calls and those lucky plays, and sometimes you're not. And the Steelers was just on the right end of those plays, but um, I don't think no Steeler player, um, fan, if you really watch the game and take your fanhood off, it's not a game that you can be beating your chest and saying we're back because it's still a lot of things this team has to work on before they can ever claim that. What we got here? Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true, Steeler fan. He didn't see him early, But when he did see him, I mean, he was wide. That's how wide open he was. I don't know what the heck. I mean, he probably was there 4 seconds. It seemed like. I mean, because like you say, he didn't. He seen him late. He seen him late, and he still was wide open. So, yeah. But like I say, with those plays, some you know, it's gonna happen. I mean, you're gonna be on the good end of those plays. You're gonna be on the bad end, and for the Steelers, they were on the lucky end. They were on the lucky end. But all I'm saying is, I'm not beating my chest and saying that we're back and the Steelers is this, and I think they turned the corner. I'm not ready to say that. I did see some positive things, but I'm not gonna go that route. And then also, I'm not a guy that you get mad at ref calls? Yeah, and I get mad at that, but I've always said, and yeah, it could piss you off, but I just go ahead and just chalk it up to the game because sometimes those plays are gonna work for you or those calls are gonna work for you. Sometimes those calls are gonna work against you. And yesterday they were definitely working for the Steelers, and and no apologies, no apologies, but you just can't. I'm not walking out the game like I say and beating my chest and saying the Pittsburgh Steelers are back and here we go, we ready to roll. I'm not going that route. All right, so let's get into these grades. Um, so we got one more game with Baltimore. This game put the Steelers up in the division, a game ahead of Baltimore. Honestly, I'm mad at the fact that this game should mean something, but I mean the Steelers should be running away with this division. To even had a thought that we let them back in it is just ridiculous, and that's one of my reasons why I'm kind of on the it may be time for a change. Because that's just ridiculous to me that we are even in this position. We shouldn't be. Um, just 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 a bad deal. Yeah, Mr. Stiller fan, you're right. A big win, a big win. Stephanie getting it in Baltimore. Because that game in Pittsburgh is probably still going to mean the division. Because I can see both of these teams. Because I'm just going to be honest. I don't really see the Steelers beating Detroit, but they should be able if they handle their business. And this is something because they haven't did this yet. We haven't put 2 games in a row after winning a big game. I think they won 2 in a row. I think they beat Minnesota and New England, but ever since then, you get a big win, they lose. Not saying they're gonna lose against the Dolphins. They shouldn't. They come in focused. That should be a game that they should get. Um, Baltimore actually has a tough game against the Bengals unless the Bengals are, 1, 2, 3 Camp Coon. And if that's the case, then Baltimore might smash them. But it's going to be tough. It's. I think that last game is going to come down and it's going to mean something. It's going to mean something. I will say that. So back to the grades. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So as we all know, the Steelers won 27-22. Um, that was a good game, actually. I mean, regardless if you was a Steeler fan or a Raven fan, it was a good game. It was a good, exciting game, entertaining game. Um, Aaron Rodgers came back to life, but it was a real enjoyable game. So let's get right to it. So the quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, seemed like he had a different type cast on. That gave him a little bit more flexibility in that wrist, and probably was a good thing because I don't know what that other cast he had on, if he would have been able to get that deflected pass and catch it. But the cast he had on this week, it was seemed like it was a little bit more flexible, and he was able to actually go under center a little bit. So Rogers, like, he was energized and kind of back at it. So I gave him a B for his for what he did. I mean, 23 of 34, 284 yards, 67.6% of his passes, threw for one touchdown, ran for one touchdown, and had a quarterback rating of 103.1. I mean, 103.1. So I thought Rodgers really played well. Uh, me personally, I think he was calling a lot of these plays. I think him and the Arthur Smith experiment is over. I think at this point, I think from yesterday moving forward, I think Aaron Rodgers is really going to take over this offense and kind of do the things that he wants to do and the plays that he wants to run. So I don't know. I'm not going to say he's calling the whole game, but I think when he feel fit that he needs to take over, I think that's what's going on. Running backs, um, I know a lot of people say that the short passes kind of took over for the run, in which I kind of agree with that. But when you even look at the reception yards, those guys didn't really do a lot. I mean, Gainwell caught like 6 passes, but um, this running game is atrocious, and I don't really know how. And like I say, it was just weird because the Steelers defense ended up holding up. Baltimore ran 77 plays. That's crazy. That is crazy. But part of that is the Steelers are not they're not having long drives. Even yesterday, we had a lot of big passes, so that they wasn't having a lot of long drives, and to run for 30 something yards, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing, and they have to fix that. And I know some injuries. I know Washington had went out, but even before he went out, they wasn't running the ball real well. So the running backs, I gave him a D because I mean 4 yards, 15, 4 carries, 15 yards. Come on, that and that's a whole game. That's unacceptable. And even if I was to add his receiving yards to his rush yards, that's still way below average to me. I mean, if you want to be a playoff team, which this team may end up being a playoff team, but you ain't going nowhere fast if you can't run the ball at all. And yesterday they couldn't run the ball at all. And that's not and the thing of it is, that's not a good Baltimore Ravens defense. That defense is bad. So it ain't like that's a stud defense and they just shut us down. And I know Baltimore tried to stop the run and didn't respect the Steeler pass, but eventually after the Steelers hit some plays on them, they came out of that and they still couldn't run the ball. It's just an issue. We haven't really been able to run the ball all year, in my opinion. Wide receivers. Um, wow, we had a DK Metcalf sighting, and the thing with that, I'm really not putting a lot on Metcalf. I think the offense really did him in more than anything. Now, I will say this, and then I said this the other day. Um, I never really watched Metcalf that much. I mean, he was out in Seattle, so I didn't watch a lot of Seattle Seahawk games. I would just see highlights of him. So you would see his highlights, and you'd be like, "Oh man, this dude is a beast." But since I've been watching him, he's been a Steeler. He's not the best. I mean, we kind of knew about his route running and stuff, but he's not the best route runner. He's not the best separator. He ain't even the best 50-50 guy. As big as he is, doesn't. His hands are maybe average at best, maybe a little bit above average. So some of the issues been him, but most of it's been this offense. This offense not having anybody on the other side of him, having safety blanket over him, and sometimes it's three guys, cover him. So the, the Steelers didn't do him no favors, but this week, as you can see, they put Scallon out there. They put Thin out there. So now you just put, even though those guys didn't do nothing, I think Thielen maybe caught one ball, but at least you just had some professional receivers out there that somewhat had made a threat, and you see what DK was able to do. So with that said, just the fact that he was able to get on track, 7 receptions, 148 yards, 21.1 average. But the thing I like more than anything, 12 targets. Because before he was getting like 5, 6 targets. And the guy that you paying that type money for, and he's supposed to be your number one threat, got to give him more targets than that. 12 targets, he should be getting that every game. Easily getting that every game. So I gave the receivers a B, in which honestly is just really DK Metcalf. He had a monster game. He came through for the Steelers. He came through big, and hopefully this is something moving forward that the Steelers would do more of and get him more involved, and hopefully that should help loosen up these defenses and help the running game get a little better, because if this team is going to try to do anything, they have to run the ball way better than what they've been running it. The tight ends was pretty non-existent, especially after Washington went out. I gave those guys a D plus. I mean, they really didn't do anything. After Washington went out, the other two tight ends, they're really not too much of blockers, so they couldn't really help any in that part of the game. I think Freiermuth might have caught a pass. Smith, I don't even think Smith caught a pass. Smith might be, he probably took Freiermuth's spot in the doghouse. So no telling how it's going to end up for him. But at this point, I think you're gonna start kind of seeing less and less of that the three tight ends. I think Rodgers about to fade that out. I think especially once these guys kind of get a little bit more acclimated to the offense and get going, he's gonna fade that those three tight ends out. He'll play two, and I think Washington is gonna really be the main guy. But the three tight ends out on the field, that's about to be faded out, because Rodgers ain't. I don't think he likes that, and he want to go down the field, and he know what it takes to win. And playing three tight ends and the type of tight ends the Steelers got, you ain't going nowhere fast. And I think Aaron Rodgers sees that. The offensive line, I gave those guys a C minus. Just on, and I think I might have been generous with that, because can't run the ball, cannot run the ball, and just got to get better. I mean, yeah, they didn't give up no sacks, but again, with that, you really can't be banging your chest on that, because Baltimore can't get to the quarterback. Baltimore as a team has 19 sacks. Myles Garrett has 20 by itself, and Baltimore only has 19. So to say you didn't give up no sacks, that's probably what you should have did, because this is a team that couldn't get to the quarterback, and I think you would have felt worse if you'd have gave up 2 or 3 sacks to a team that really can't even get to the quarterback. So you say in 6 games against the Dolphins, Aaron Rodgers is 4-2 all time, 12 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So seems like he has their number a little bit. This should be um 'cause I think the Dolphins going to want to just run the ball. They that passing game is not as potent as it was when they had Hill in there. But that the A Train, whatever his name is, he's a monster. I think he got hurt. I don't know what injury he had, but I think he got hurt. And I know he had 7 carries for 92 yards. This dude is the ultimate home run hitter. So the Steelers are going to have to definitely do their thing against him. But that's a good fact, Mr. Stiller fan, that Aaron Rodgers kind of got the Dolphins number. We're gonna need it. We're gonna need it. So moving right along, the offensive total grade, I gave him a C. I gave him a C, and most of it was just the fact of the changes they made with the receivers, and finally was able to hit some passes down the field. Was threw some balls over the middle of the field and was just aggressive. And you could tell that's all Aaron Rodgers. That ain't Mike Tomlin. That ain't that wasn't Arthur Smith. That was an Aaron Rodgers call there, I believe. Moving over to the defense, which um like I say, hey, I'm happy. I'm happy like everybody else that we got to win. But this defense did not play good. They did not play good whatsoever. So going with the edges, Aaron Highsmith, he led the way, 7 tackles, 1 sack, one huge sack to end the game. So that was a big thing. 3 tackles for loss. So Highsmith showed up. Herbert was kind of invisible. Um, T.J. Watt, he started the game off hot. He had a couple of good tackles on Henry coming straight down the line because they kind of wasn't worried about Lamar running until Lamar started running. But then after that, TJ kind of disappeared. I mean, he was still a force, but he just no impact, no type of impact of players. Yeah, that's I don't know. I thought Herbert, unless he's banged up or something, I don't understand why he's not getting more play. I mean, I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't know. I just think Herbert need to have more sacks. I mean, more snaps, and even if he got especially the way Watt playing, even if he got to spell him a little more than what he's doing, I would be fine with it. But who knows? Defensive tackles, um, same thing, same thing. Didn't I mean you gave up 200? You gave up 200 yards rushing. Now granted, Henry didn't totally destroy us like I thought he was going to do. But still, 200 yards rushing, you gotta and you really couldn't. That second half, they couldn't get off the field. They couldn't get off the field. I mean, now I know Lamar Jackson will do that to a lot of teams because them third and threes, third and fours, he's converting a lot of that with his legs. So I know Baltimore probably, if you look at their numbers, they probably like one of the best third down teams in the league just on the fact of Lamar. Uh, Hayward led the way with 5 tackles. Again, nothing special. Like I'm not going to get overexcited because we had a win. I only could give him the grades that I seen, and whenever you give up 200 yards rushing, that's a problem. That's a problem. Um, the inside linebackers, Holcomb led the way. Now, the one thing I will say, and they just don't really have room for him. He came in there when Queen was hurt, and then I think he kind of spelled Wilson a little bit more. I don't think this was really a Wilson's game because they needed guys to stop the run, and then when Harrison knocked himself crazy, um, Holcomb had to come in there, but he's a tackling machine. I mean, he finds the ball and he makes tackles. So that he's a good, very good backup. He's a very good backup for the Steelers. But he's definitely a tackle machine, and he finds a way to get to that ball carrier. Yeah. Queen played a good game. I mean, because when he got hurt, I thought he might have been done, but he ended up coming right back. I think he only missed like 2 plays. Yeah, yeah, Sean B, you right. Like I say, when you look at it, if you look at the numbers, you would be like, how the hell did Steelers even win this game? And to be honest, like I say, Baltimore lost at least 2 touchdowns. I mean, the one that I think Lamar missed the guy and Andrews messed up in that flag. So Steelers probably would have lost this game. But when you look at the numbers, you be like, how the hell did the Steelers win this game? And like I say, yeah, you can get excited that your team won, but it wasn't something to really be excited about. Hey, how you doing, Yolanda? Yeah, we got to win, but you know what? I'm not over here beating my chest because they had some lucky calls that went their way. I thought our defense played not good, especially in the second half. And yeah, yeah, we lucked that one out. But I still believe that last game of the year is going to determine the who goes to the playoffs. Because I think these teams are still going to trade, winning some games, losing some games. Because right now I don't think the Steelers got a shot to beat Detroit. But we'll see. We will see. All right. So with that said, I inside linebackers, I gave those guys a D again. They're part of the run game, and like I say, it's no excuse when you're giving up 200 yards rushing. It's just no excuse for it. And I can't justify giving these guys a better grade when they're sitting there um, giving up 200 yards rushing. The corners, they let one guy beat them up. Um, Zay Flowers ate them up. Um, and it was really getting on my nerves because I mean he's okay, but a big game like this, these are the games and these are the type guys that you would want to say, Joey Porter, you got to shut that guy down. You got to shut that man. He was eating them guys up. He was eating them up. He was eating them up. And so James Pierre, he had 5 tackles and real good interception. That I don't know. Him and Lamar's cousins. I don't know if Lamar tried to make his cousin look good on that one or something. I don't know what was going on there, but yeah, I thought our corners got roasted, and we got roasted by one guy. It was one guy that did us in. So it, it's it's just I don't know. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. Um, and again, I just think the coaches put these guys in bad positions sometimes. I mean, they play that cover three, they be 7, 8 yards off, and this the NFL. And I will say, especially with a guy like Zay Flowers, you can't give him that much space and think you gonna stop him from having a big game. So it, sometimes it be scheme. Sometimes it just be scheme with these guys. Moving over to the safeties again. Peppers ended up having 4 tackles. He led the way. Jalen Ramsey was pretty quiet. Um, the tight ends really didn't kill the Steelers as much as that they usually do. I think Andrews only caught one pass. Likely should have had 2 touchdowns against him, but um, it was just not a good showing for the defense. Yeah, they end up getting the win, but I don't know. Like I say, it's nothing to really write home about and feel. Yeah, yeah, you're gonna feel good because you got to win. You're always gonna feel that way, but um, you know, it's just not nothing to write home about. Uh, what you say, Mr. Stiller fan? You said what he say here? Let Zay have his day. They didn't win by doing so. You can give him space, and they prove when they do, they lose to us at Baltimore. Yeah, yeah, we'll see. Um, I thought they gave him too much space though, and they made that very uncomfortable and just gave him too much. They gave him way too much space. I mean, it's not like he's trash. I'm not saying that, and you do got to respect him a little bit. But man, they let that guy eat him up. So the total grade for the defense, I gave him a D plus. You gave up 420 yards of offense, and that's not good football. That's just not good football. Um, and it wasn't like they just threw the ball all over the yard and they threw for 360 yards. I mean, threw for like 219, but you can't give up 200 yards rushing. You can't do that. So that's where I was at with the defense. Special teams, you know, Boz was Boz, 2 for 2 field goals, 3 for 3 extra points. Waitman actually is starting to turn it back around because the last couple of games he haven't really been punting that good. 4 punts, 197 yards, a 49.3 average. Um, Kick returns was not bad. I thought the coverage wasn't so hot. The Ravens had a couple of good, decent returns on them. So I gave the special teams a B. Coaches, Arthur Smith. Um, I don't really know how to grade Arthur Smith because I don't think he's the offensive coordinator anymore. No, but he, I don't know. He got to find out some kind of way. And I know the one thing he did was with the extra linemen and the big package and try to move the ball that way. But now it's time to try to do something else, Arthur. You got to get this run game. You got to get this run game going. I will give him credit. Again, I don't really think it was what he wanted to do, but I give him credit that they did some things to get DK Metcalf going. put some different guys out there to kind of put a threat out there on the other side, so teams just wouldn't have to double team Metcalf. So I have to give him credit for that. But like I say, I don't truly believe it was his decision, but it could have been. So I have to give him credit for that. But I'm gonna give him a C minus. And you had 208 yards total yards, 284 passing, but come on, man, 17 attempts for 34 yards. For one thing, the attempts is not even enough to. I don't know. I don't know. Arthur Smith need to get it together, but like I say, I don't really think from yesterday moving forward. He just might be the offensive coordinator by title, but I think Aaron Rodgers is running this show. Defense again, 420 yards total, gave up 22 touchdowns, um, 300 to 203 yards passing, 217 yards rushing, a total of 77 plays, one INT, two sacks. Not good enough, and that's all I can really say about that. It's not good enough. Not good enough. Not good enough. Tomlin, you move to 7-6. You back in first place in the AFC North, and as of right now, the fourth seed in the playoffs. And we'll have a home game, and I think it would be against the Buffalo Bills as of right now. So I gave Tomlin the C for the game, just for the fact that he did allow those guys to do some different things on offense. His defense is still terrible. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it, and that's the way I see it. That's the way I see it. For this game. Move on next week, Monday night game against the Miami Dolphins, another winnable game. Hey, you guys got to stack victories. This should be a game that Steelers should find a way to win. It's at home, and just gotta keep it going. So overall, and I do the average so that the coaches end up getting a D plus, because the coordinators were kind of iffy. So with that said, that's it. Let me see what we got in the comments here. Steeler fan. Sean B, what you got here? So you say Tomlin never has the Steelers ready for a national televised game. No. Sean, I had to go against you on that one. Monday nights, they're Monday night games, they're pretty tough. He has a very good Monday night record. So I kind of got to disagree with you on that one. I mean, I'm tough on Tomlin, but I have to give him his credit where it's due, and he's not bad. He's not bad on Monday nights. So we'll see. This should be a winnable game for them. So we will see. So until then, I will talk to you guys later. Make sure you like and subscribe, and hopefully the Steelers can stack another win and go from there. Until then, take care. I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.